Welcome to the Celtics Celebrity Series, and we have rapper and songwriter Cousin Stizz joining us. I know that you're currently out in LA right now working on your music. How is everything going for you? How is this time for you right now?
It's going all right. I've taken this time to kind of just slow down and just really reflect and try to build and just try to be better, So I got the home studio set up, and I haven't really found much reason to really leave besides groceries and things like that. So I've just been trying to work.
Well, we'll get to your love for Boston and Boston sports here in a minute. But first, just kind of walk me through your career path and the steps that you took to get to where you are today.
It was a lot. It was a lot, and it was I think a lot of it was a perfect timing, and it was having the right set of friends, and it was a real a home rooted thing, which worked too. But I started I guess really buzzing around the end of 2014. I had around at that time I just released a song, and it ended up on Drake's Instagram, and it kind of that really popped off my career. And then after that, it was I kind of we the team, I should say, me and my homies, but I guess it was the team. But the team, we kind of brought the reins back and really try to hone in on the work and all right, make sure that the rest of the music could keep up with what was going on at the time. So we really dialed back for a year, try to make the solid foundation for the project, and then we put out our first project the very next year, and then the rest was kind of history. It was just blessing after blessing. I'm kind of grateful. I'm really grateful, I should say, for what happened. But it was just a lot of work, man, and a lot of team effort for real.
What was that moment like for you when you did see Drake's Instagram?
It was cool. I mean, it was super cool. I really it was a while ago, you know what I'm saying? But I remember vividly the moment. So I guess it was really special. I was comeing home. It was probably 2 a.m. Just a regular night. It was a weekend, I'm pretty sure. And I got a DM from Quentin, Mac Miller's manager, at the time, and it was just an Instagram post, and I thought it was just something funny because that's the homie, you know what I'm saying? So I thought it was just a regular meme or something like that, and it ended up being the Drake thing, and I woke my mom up, and we kind of watched it for this 15-second clip. We probably watched it for 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying? But I literally the very next week, my life was different and never the same after that.
Oh. Well, I know you look back, I know that you got the nickname Cousin Stizz when you were 12 years old. What's the story behind that?
I actually got Stizz when I was 12. Stizz I got when I was 12 years old, but from one of my closest friends at the time. He had passed away when I turned 14, but he gave me the name when I was 12 just because my government name's Steven. And it was just we was just around the way, you know what I'm saying? My crib was by the basketball court, and he was just bro, we can't just be calling you Steven. And that's literally just how it came up. He was just yo, we're going to call you Stizz. And Stizzy is how it started, and everybody called me Stizzy. Yep, and then I just kind of grew into Stizz. It just was easier to say. But the Cousin Stizz came from Instagram. I mean, not Instagram. I was on Twitter. I would just change my Twitter handles all the time. And I was just known for being cool with a lot of people, and one of my closest friends still to this day, he was yo, bro, you're everybody's cousin. You're everybody's cousin, bro. And I was just that Cousin Stizz. I put it as my Twitter name, and then my manager, Tim, was yo, that's pretty good. We should probably just run with that.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, just really easy, natural.
Well, I know that you are from Boston, and you grew up in Dorchester, to be exact, and you said that you bleed green at all times. Mm-hmm. How big of a Celtics fan were you growing up?
Too big of a Celtics fan. I cried when we lost 03 Eastern Conference Finals. Was it the Eastern Conference Finals? I believe it was the Eastern Conference Finals. But I cried that night, and my mom was really confused. She was yo, why is this boy so emotional about basketball? And it was crazy because I wasn't even a basketball kid. I love football, but it was just something about my team. If you're part of my team, I just rode with you, right or wrong. It was ride or die. So I've always kind of been like that. It's just in me.
I don't think there's such thing as a too big of a Celtics fan.
True.
Who would you say is your favorite Celtics player of all time, maybe that you watched growing up or even now?
That's easy. Paul Pierce. That one's easy though. Like, yeah, that's easy. Like, that's what I mean. I grew up on that. Literally, I grew up on buying the Paul Pierce jerseys, the 34. Like, I grew up with the true. I grew up buying sneakers. Like Paul Pierce, but hands down, easy.
Are you or are you close, or have you met any of the current guys or former players that you maybe were able to have a relationship with?
Yeah, I mean, I met a bunch of the guys actually. I mean, we're not like super. I wouldn't say we're like super close, but I met a majority of the team. I met the coach too. I met Brad. Everybody was really nice there, too, which was I was really nervous because like, you know, even though these dudes are like a lot of these dudes are younger than me, you know what I'm saying, but like still like, you know what I'm saying, like these are my sports team and like I take it serious, like, and I was like, and that winning mentality and winning is like stuff I look up to, you know what I'm saying, like that type of greatness and those titles and stuff I look up to. So like it was like still like meeting heroes to me, you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
like it was dope. It was dope, and they're all Giants too. So it was really like it was dope.
Well, you talk about that winning mentality, and this season we really saw a Celtics group that was finding their stride, coming together as a team. What stands out to you about this year's team and what you were seeing this season?
Heart, man. The one thing that I love about Boston sports in general is just heart. Like the when you come and play for these teams and like even just represent the city in general, like you know that you have to give 110%. That's just what it is. If you come in there with that mentality and with that mindset, the city embraces you and we feed off your energy. And I think it's vice versa with the players.
You mentioned the city embracing you. How have you felt that they've embraced you in just the journey that you've been on and just being so connected to Boston?
I think my city propelled me to heights that I wouldn't have reached not even think. I'm sure I wouldn't have reached if it wasn't for that. The city was the first thing that it was the first thing. It was the one thing that connected me to the rest of the country. I think was the fact that something in Boston was happening homegrown. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't from anywhere else. I didn't get it from any other place and try to bring it back home. It was really just a kid from Dorchester, you know, and I was just making music videos with my friends. Like literally, we was doing all this stuff like in places I grew up with, and like we were doing it off of like cameras that we had for like years, like just no budget videos, like literally just riding around the city, and we was just taking shots of stuff that we knew were cool to us, and and I and the fact that like I knew a lot of people in the city helped too. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up here, so like knowing a lot of people helped too. So when the music came out, people loved it. You know, people like embraced it because they knew it was true to the city. They knew the kid. You know what I'm saying? They knew the kid behind the videos. So it worked out.
Well, we all know that Boston fans in general do expect a certain level of greatness for their sports players. And you have even said before that you want to hold yourself to that same standard.
Yeah.
How have you felt that you've been able to do that?
It's an everyday struggle for sure. I'm not gonna say it's not. It's man, like staying focused and staying dedicated is two of the toughest things I think for like to just do in general. It's just like trying to stay laser sharp and laser focused all the time and stay in the moment, you know, not get like when good things happen, not get too high on it, and when bad things happen, not get too low. Trying to stay like right in that middle balance and just be present, you know. And I think that's been like the toughest thing about that achieving that level of greatness. But it's the one thing that I think I've actually done really well for myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned achieving greatness. I mean, you had an amazing year last year, 2019. You created the Celtics playoff track. How did that come about for you?
Really funny. The team reached out to me, which was crazy because I was like, for me, obviously that's like one of the crazy. I actually asked my manager like 2-3 times if he was sure that really happened. Like, oh, you serious? He was like, yeah, man. Like, they want to do something. Went in and we did the voiceovers first, and that was really dope. It was like an all-day thing, and that was my first time doing something like that. We did the voiceovers for the commercials, and then we came back and then did the record. And that was super simple too. Like once they told me what they needed for that, it was just like, I was like, oh yeah, bet. I did that in my closet in probably like 10 minutes.
Okay, so walk me through what that process was like. You said that it was super simple. How did you just come up with that?
Um, I don't really even know how to explain it. I really don't. Because I don't try to think when I make music too much. I just will go for the general direction. I kind of knew what to go in with. It was just more like finding the right beat, that sounded like triumphant. It sounded like a championship level type beat. And then after that, it was just like, tying in the theme, tying in the theme of the Celtics, obviously, then basketball, working hard, dedication, and those things. And then after that, I would just, I just go. I just take what I got and I just go.
When the product was finally finished, what was that experience like for you to know that, Boston is so much a part of your story, but it brought the Celtics together, but then also the city together as well?
I think it was super dope for me because of where I came from, where I came from, and I think it was dope for me because of how happy my dad was, how happy it made my parents and stuff like that. And obviously I'm a fan of the Celtics, so it was just sick to do something like that in general. But the impact of stuff like that happens on the people around you. It's you don't even notice it until it happens. It's that was way more cool.
I know that in the end of 2019, you actually toured with Freddie Gibbs. And then after that, you played your own headline show in London and then Boston at the House of Blues. Both were sold out crowds.
Yeah.
What was that like for you to perform in front of a sold out crowd?
Oh man, it's dope, man. Anytime I get to come back home and do something, it's crazy. But when I get to go overseas and then people know who I am, that's a different level. So when we went to London and I'm telling you, these kids knew the songs better than I knew them. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. People jumping off the bar off stage, crowd surfing. It was nuts. I never usually my shows are really dope. They're really energetic and exciting, but that was a different level. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But coming home it's always super sick to come home, and especially House of Blues is I can't really say much about it. It's just what type, it's to me, every time to me, it's a surreal thing. It's I can't even believe it's me. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe that it happened. I'm super grateful and I'm super happy, but sometimes I just can't even believe that it's me that it's happening to.
Well, when you do look at your career, what's the top of mind for you as just your greatest accomplishment? And I mean, you just talked about it too, about seeing how your music really does have an impact on people.
Yeah, I think that is the most important part. And I think that's the coolest part is that I got to change my friends' lives. Mm-hmm. Literally every person on my team, they're from the city. They're my friends, they're my family, you know what I'm saying? It's literally everybody I grew up with. And it's we're all making a living off this. This is our jobs now, you know what I'm saying? And that to me is I couldn't ask for anything else. I get to live with my friends and my cousins and my family, and we just wake up and we talk about this music thing. You know what I'm saying? That's our job, and it's to me that I couldn't picture it any other way.
Does it sometimes? Do you ever feel you pinch yourself and saying, "Is this is real? This is
oh yeah,
I made my dream
all the time, all the time." I literally did that this morning. I say thank you every night, and sometimes I do wake up in the morning and be like, "Yo, what is happening?" Like this, literally, we had a meeting right before this interview. Me and my manager, we had a little phone meeting, and I was just like, "Yo, what is this?" You know what I'm saying? This type of stuff is just, it's surreal. It's just surreal sometimes, and I'm really happy to be in these moments.
Well, you kind of touched on it about when you were doing the Celtics track. You said that it took you about 10 minutes. You went in your closet and wrote it. I've always been curious with artists, what is the process like and kind of the timeline like when you're going to write a song, record it, and then kind of see the finishing product? How long does that take? And does it just vary for each song? The process vary?
Yeah, I think it's for me, I should say it's a track by track, like it's a case by case thing. Like honestly, sometimes I could write a whole song out, sometimes I'll write a hook, and sometimes I'll just freestyle the whole song just off the top of my head. You know, I do that a lot these days. That I'll just go in and I'll just start rapping. So I think it's all a feeling thing too. You know, music is a big is I think uh, half sound, half feeling. So I think like you know it all depends on where the song takes you, where to me where the beat takes me, and then after that, if the beat takes me to a place where I feel like needs to be more retrospective, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna use my pen. I'm gonna really think about it. But if it's something that's more fun, and you know I don't need to think, you shouldn't think as much about it because you're overthinking at that point. You know, I just try to just go in, you know, blank canvas.
Well, before we let you go, what upcoming projects are you currently working on? I know that you're at home right now in LA, so that you're writing music. What's
Yeah.
next for you?
I'm actually going to drop a project soon. Hopefully, I could get it out towards the end of the summer. I'm working on yeah, trying to get something out. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's not done, and I don't like talking about stuff, and then I don't finish it on time, and then I get people disappointed. But I'm trying to get something done by the end of summer so I could kick it out to everybody that's been supporting me, especially in this time where I'm like in the house and stuff. So I definitely want to show people that I'm still working. I appreciate them listening.
Well, I know everyone is really looking forward to that. Cousin Stizz, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.